This is David Asarno with Business Oxygen, and today is our guest. We have a very successful business owner based up in Long Island, New York, Robin Ellman with InHome Pet Services. It is actually a pet service franchise company. They've been franchising, or actually they've been in business since 2003, and they now have 8 locations. And one of the cool things in getting to know Robin is her commitment to her franchisees, her commitment to the pets and the owners of those pets, and making sure that everything that she's doing is of the utmost quality. So I want to welcome you here today, Robin.
Thank you very much.
So Robin, how did you get involved in in-home pet services?
Well, you know, when I was young, I always loved animals. I always had an interest to learn more about them. And believe it or not, I've never owned a dog or a cat while I was growing up. My dad was actually allergic to all animals with fur. So that probably fueled my passion to really want to be around animals. And, you know, like a lot of little girls who love animals, I wanted to become a veterinarian. And I did go to school for biology, but I decided to shift my focus to zoology. And I actually became a zookeeper after graduating at the Bronx Zoo, and I worked there for several years.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you know, that wasn't, I realized, my life dream. And so after leaving there, I took an interim job as a store manager of a pet store in Queens. And I had the idea to start up InHome Pet Services, and I really had a successful model for the business. And a year later, I left there to work at the company full time.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So what made you decide to start franchising your business?
That's a really good question. You know, there's 2 main reasons I decided to go the route of franchising. First of all was for the pets and their clients. So let me explain what I mean by that. When I started, I always had clients from other service areas ask me for my services because they heard about us from their friends and family, how affordable we were, reliable we were. I mean, I knew that I really couldn't give them that level of service with them living so far outside my service area. Plus the price of gas was getting kind of high. And so I knew the only way I can really provide them with that level of service is to have someone who lived in that area as committed as I was in the business. So I knew by having a franchise owner that lived there, that's the only way that they could really have that level of service and still be able to experience, you know, the principles we have at InHome Pet Services.
Well,
yeah.
Well, because of your commitment to service, you're actually an award-winning business, aren't you? You were ranked as a top in-home pet services business on Long Island.
Yes, we were voted #1 best pet sitting and boarding service of all of Long Island, which was pretty cool. But you know, the other reason we decided to franchise was to give people an opportunity that I didn't have. So after leaving the zoo, I knew I wanted to work with animals, and I still needed to afford to be able to live in New York. And so, you know, I wanted to be able to give people who maybe didn't think they could afford having their own business, or maybe they didn't have the business experience and that kind of prohibited them, the opportunity to really have a successful pet services business.
So why would someone consider a franchise, and yours in particular, versus just an independent startup going out there and blazing the trail themselves?
Right, another great question. And you know, when franchises come to me for information, potential franchisees, I do always tell them to call our current franchisees and ask them that very same question. Ask them if they feel that they could run this business equally or better independently than with starting with InHome Pet Services. And just generally, I love to tell people the statistic from the U.S. Department of Commerce is that in a 5 to 6 year period, 97% of all franchises are still in business, when in that same time period, only 38% of individual startups were still in business, and that actually decreased over time. But on a more specific level, you know, dog walking and pet sitting, the industry has become super competitive. And we're very established, we have a great reputation, and of course we know what works and what doesn't work. So by becoming an InHome Pet Services franchisee, you not only have the support behind you of myself, my staff, and all our locations, but you have someone guiding you to do the right thing, to know what works, what doesn't work, which will, of course, only increase your chance of success. And we've actually never had a franchisee fail with us.
That's awesome. So basically they get a support system in a network. They get the coach sitting there, not only laying out exactly what they need to do, you're supporting them along the way.
Absolutely. And that's one of the key features of our business is we give a lot of support. That's the main focus of our business for our franchisees.
Awesome. Now, do they all have a pet background? What is the typical makeup of, one of your
Mhm.
franchisees?
Our franchisees actually come from many, many different varied backgrounds. We have a woman who actually owned a daycare center, not for pets, but for children. Three of our franchisees were actually former staff members. Two of them were our dog walkers, and one of them was our office manager. We have someone from the restaurant industry, someone who is a freelance journalist, and one of our franchisees was actually a former client who was in the business and marketing world.
So they're all different backgrounds. So what makes them successful? So if someone comes into your system, how do you predetermine, A, are they the right fit, and B, what are they going to make someone who's going to be, are they going to be someone who's going to be successful in your business?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, we look for someone who has a passion for animals. Okay, that's very, very important. And secondarily, we definitely need someone who has that drive and motivation to really want to succeed and grow a business, and of course, make a difference in their community, because that's really what we do. We improve the quality of pets' lives and their owners. I don't know if you can hear my little bird chirping in the
I
background.
can hear your bird. What's your bird's name?
His name is Fred.
Hi, Fred.
He's a blue crown conure, so he'll be chiming in, when he has something to say. But yeah, so I mean, we definitely look for that in our franchisees. On a more specific level, I look for people who have an outgoing personality and who are not afraid to talk to people. Because just because this isn't a business where you work with animals, we still work with people on a daily basis. Whether it's making clients feel comfortable or networking with other pet professionals. And we also look for people who aren't afraid of technology. So what I mean by that is you don't have to know everything. You don't have to be the most technologically savvy person, but you need to be willing to learn. You need to embrace technology, because just like a lot of other businesses, we use technology and social media a lot in our everyday business. So if you really just have the passion for pets, the drive to want to succeed, we can guide you the rest of the way and give you whatever training you need.
So why in-home pet services versus a brick-and-mortar doggy daycare franchise?
Well, the main difference between us is basically the cost. So the startup for a traditional doggy daycare, is well over $100,000.
Wow.
Our franchise fee, first of all, is $8,000, and you can start up the whole company for about $1,200 additional. So the cost is the main difference. Plus, we have a lot more possibility for clients. And what I mean by that is in a doggy daycare, obviously you can only have dogs that are sociable with other dogs. Plus, it's not usually for cats or rabbits or guinea pigs or other animals. And we're able to deal with any kind of animal and any kind of pet that a client needs help with.
So your startup costs are less than 10%, and you have a greater market share because basically anyone in your neighborhood, anyone around surrounding neighborhoods could be a potential client.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool. So how do you market yourself, or how does a franchisee market themselves?
We help a lot with marketing. We do, we have a PR professional. We do press releases out for them, and we train on how to do every single aspect of the business, including marketing. And as far as we give you DVDs with all our advertising materials already made for you. Of course, all our franchisees are welcome to design their own materials, and we can work with them as well. But we have everything pre-designed for you, and we give you all the tools and train you where to advertise, how to advertise. And the great thing about this business is it's actually very low-cost advertising. We work on a lot of referrals. We have a huge network of other pet professionals, including veterinarians, groomers, pet store owners, that we will actually help you set you up with in order to grow your business.
That's fantastic. And here's something that I noticed with you. You understand technology yourself, where the franchisees don't have to. And you are literally dominating the internet. Now, I'm not just talking your rank there. You are dominating the internet. Now, you yourself have grown to how many for your location? You still operate a location.
Yeah, I do. Believe it or not, yes, I work very hard, and I still run my original location, which is Northeast Queens and Great Neck here in New York. We have over 1,200 clients, and I have about 19 people on my staff right now.
Wow.
So it's a huge location, and the bigger you grow, actually, the more smoothly it runs. So that's how I train everybody to start, from 0 people to have as large a staff as you need.
Now, can they run it as a management model? Is absentee ownership allowed, or do they have to live and work in their territory?
You know, a lot of people do ask me that. First of all, we don't allow absentee ownership because this is definitely a very personal business. You know, we're going into clients' homes, we're caring for their pets. Pets are family members, and to some people, the pets are their children. And so they really want someone who's not only local, but really hands-on in the business. So that's not to say you're doing all the dog walking and all the pet sitting on your own, but they really do want someone in the area. And as far as living in the territory, you know, that's a great question because every potential franchisee, I think, asks me that question. And until you're starting the business, you don't realize how important that is.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you think about it, if a client has an emergency or needs a last minute visit, or even if you have a staff member that's maybe locked out of an apartment or a house, you don't want to be miles away in order to be able to get to them. So, you know, to really efficiently and responsibly run the business the way we want it run, you need to live in that territory that you're servicing.
So is this a 2-day-a-week business, a 5-day-a-week business?
This is a 7-day-a-week, 365-day-a-year business. Like most other service businesses, we cater to the clients. So it's whatever the client needs. And, you know, that doesn't mean that, you know, you'll have to accept phone calls at 2 o'clock in the morning, but you will be working every day. We're busiest on holidays, when kids are off school. So, you know, if you don't have coverage during those times, you have children, we help you learn how to hire staff, train them. We provide you with all those materials as well.
Now, are you looking to bring on franchisees this year?
Absolutely. You know, we definitely are looking to expand more in the tri-state area first. All our locations are currently in the tri-state area. Our current goal for expansion is to have 4 new franchisees come into our system this year in the tri-state area. And we generally have a 2 to 3 month waiting period in between each franchisee signing, which I know is unusual. And, you know, that's because, we really just want to provide, you know, all our time, attention, and resources to each individual franchisee when they're opening and starting up and growing to really increase and give them the best chance of success.
So you're there holding their hand every step along the way.
As much or as little as they want us to.
Okay, awesome. So what would you like, if anyone out there is watching this, what would you like to leave them with? What piece of information about you, InHome Pet Services, franchising, what would you like to say?
I really just want to let people know that if they are interested in working their animals and working with animals and having their own business, that this is definitely a dream that's possible for them. It's definitely more affordable than they can think. Even without the business experience, they can do it. And I've helped so many people realize their dreams of working with animals and having their own successful business, which of course is a tremendously rewarding feeling. So I just want to let people know, you know, they can do it, and definitely talk to our other franchisees and they'll tell you, you know, everything you want to know.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you, Fred, for chiming in when you did. This is David Asarno with Business Oxygen, Robin Ellman with InHome Pet Services Franchising Company. Robin, I want to thank you so much for being a guest today.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, everyone, for viewing. And if you want to find out more, where can they go?
Definitely visit our website, which is inhomepetservices.com, and we have a whole franchise section on the website that can answer a lot of your questions. And, you know, please connect with us through social media, you know, facebook.com/inhomepetservices.
Awesome. Everyone, connect with Robin. Check them out. Robin, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for being a guest today.